There's no doubt that the animal kingdom is amazing and that each species conforming it is unique in nature. But did you know that there's a lot of animal misconceptions that people usually have? So now what I'm going to do is to try and correct those misconceptions and actually see if there's some truth to them. So, I'm Sajak the Decus Grove, and here are 5 common animal misconceptions. Number 1. Crows and ravens are the same. Crows and ravens are amazing animals. They are extremely intelligent and they are able to use tools to resolve day-to-day problems, something that just was attributed to apes and other primates. Often, people mistakenly believe that crows and ravens are the same species. Yes, they share a lot of similarities, like both of them being big black birds with terribly off-tone cries, and yes, both of them are part of the same genus, the Corvus genus, but they are actually different species, and there's a lot of differences to tell between the two. First, let's start with their scientific names. This is the first clue we have to know that they are not the same species. Each species in the animal kingdom has a different scientific name, no matter how similar they may be. The American crow's scientific name is Corvus brachyrhynchus, while the common raven's scientific name is Corvus corax. Other differences that we can spot in them are physical differences. The most noticeable one is that crows are smaller than ravens. Ravens are the same size of a red-tailed hawk, and their beaks are usually curvier than crows. The bristles under their beaks happen to be different size between the species. Yes, both birds have them, but ravens happen to have more prominent bristles than crows. Another difference that we can spot are their tails. Ravens have a more diamond-shaped tail, while crows have a more rectangular-shaped tail. The flying techniques tend to be different between the two species as well. Ravens tend to soar more, while crows tend to flap more. Finally, the differences between their calls. Here's a raven call. And here's the call of a crow. Number 2. The difference between poisonous and venomous. We all know the king cobra, that beautiful yet menacing snake that inhabits the plains of India and southern China. Or what about the black widow, an infamous spider because of its deadly bite, and eating the male after mating? Not an arachnophobe, but I wouldn't like to get bitten by one of those. I don't think anyone would like it, to be honest. But what if I told you that these two deadly animals aren't poisonous actually? I'm going to explain you why they aren't poisonous, but first let me give you another example of a very toxic animal. And one of the most common ones is the dart poison frog and their relatives. Yes, king cobras, black widows, and poison dart frogs are pretty toxic animals. But to see if they are poisonous or venomous, first we need to see of how they inflict their toxicity to the victim. That means that for you to get intoxicated by a frog, you would have to eat the frog. The same happens with some fungi, such as the amanita. If you eat that mushroom, which I don't recommend you to do, it could lead to several problems. While to get intoxicated by spider venom or snake venom, you would have to let the spider or the snake bite you. Yeah, it's not a present situation, but at least we can use it as an example. Number 3. Bulls are eagered by the color red. You probably have heard of bullfighting, a pretty cruel sport that sadly a lot of people still support today, and how bullfighters use a red coat to quote-unquote eager the bull and make the bull attack them. But what if I told you that bulls, or bovines in general, can perceive this color? Cows and bulls can perceive the color red. They only can perceive the color yellow, green, and shades of violet. A bull's vision is pretty similar to a human vision with a condition called protanopia. This condition makes a person lack the cones that are destined to perceive the color red, so a person with protanopia can't actually see the color red at all. I'm going to show you the picture of a strawberry seen from a bull's eye view. As seen on the image, the bull can only see the color green in the strawberry's leaves, but it can't actually see the color red of the strawberry. Number 4. Goldfish have only a 3-second memory span. I'm not entirely sure where this myth came from, but the fact is that goldfish can actually remember things for months. Years ago, some scientists made an experiment to see if this were just a myth or it was reality. So they decided to put a lever inside of a goldfish tank, which dispensed food when pressed. Once the goldfish learned to press the lever, they would regularly return to get more food. Even more amazing, the goldfish actually learned to press the lever at the right time of the day to get even more food. Researchers adjusted the lever so it would only dispense food within 1 hour a day. And the fish learned to come back each day around that time. Then they made another experiment, which tried to prove that we can train fish the same way we can train dogs. What they did is that they played a certain sound when the fish were fed, which caused them to associate that sound with the food. The fish were then released into the wild for around 5 months. After the 5 months have passed, the sound was played again and the fish returned to their original feeding place. As you can see, this experiment is highly related to Pavlov's positive conditionment method. And finally, number 5. Mother birds will reject their chicks if they have been touched by humans. I'm not pretty sure where this myth came from, but I'm going to tell you that birds do not have a pretty good sense of smell, except for kiwis. Kiwis do have an amazing sense of smell. Did you know that kiwis have their nostrils in the tip of their beaks? Well, but that's a topic for another video. There's no evidence that shows that mother birds will reject their chicks if they have been touched by humans, because in the first instance they can't smell if the chicks have actually been touched by humans or not. If you see a baby bird that has fallen off the nest, that could mean they are actually learning to fly. But if you encountered one of these little birds out of its nest, I'm going to show you what you can do to help it. First, you need to see if the baby bird is in danger or not. If it is in danger, go and put it under some safe space, like under a bush. But if it isn't in danger, then don't do anything. He would actually know how to get out of trouble. If the bird in the floor has feathers, that means that it's a fledgling and that it's getting ready to fly. But if it doesn't have any feathers, that means that it's a nestling and that you have to return it to its nest. If you can't see any nest nearby, contact a licensed wildlife rehabilitator. Maybe they can help. And if you see a nest nearby, don't be scared to return the little bird to it. The mother will not reject it, I promise. So yeah, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Please leave a comment, subscribe, and like the video. That way, you can help me to improve with future projects. This is Zaisiak the Deku Scrub wishing you an amazing day. Bye bye!